Testing. Okay. Okay, I guess I'll look at the first mulligan because I went that kind of quick. Yeah, so here's a hand, but it doesn't really stand out to me. It's not really doing anything that good. Like it has a couple 2-drops, but it has I can't really use the 5th land to do anything. At this point, I feel like I could just do better, basically. It's not like a couple 2-drops and 5 lands to really, I feel like I could do better. Not really better, but I think I keep this. It's not really a good hand, but, I do bottom land. Oh, I was changing it. I could bottom an ooze, but I guess I do bottom a land here. We'll see what occurs. Because I think you could potentially get a higher win rate going to 5, but you need Pelt Collector. Just ooze isn't that impressive in the starting hand, but, it's a fine card. I have resources to work with. Stuff to do. Here's a classic situation where you have a Bark Troll and Wildborn Preserver, and you decide which one to play. I think I go with the Preserver just so that I can. Basically, when you have Preserver in play, you're going to use all your mana every turn because all your excess mana you can just pump into it, so made sense to me. Then they play a Gross Chamber Guardian. Wait, did I play a pre-combat? I think I might have. No, I didn't have the stop. Sometimes I do that because I don't want them to attack. I want to make them consider not attacking. But yeah, I don't block. So I draw another Bark Troll, so I could be punished for bottoming the forest here. But that was because I drew Wildborn Preserver, which is one of the most mana-intense cards. So I decided to attack because I don't really, how do you put it, I didn't feel like leaving it back would accomplish that much. I already have a 3/3 back, so, I can already block the Pelt Collector, and yeah. And I didn't really want to trade the Wildborn, so it's just getting 3 damage in. So they miss a land, so now I'm okay, let's go. I drew a forest, and now I'm deciding I want to play Troll or Ooze. Just because if I have the Ooze in play, it can, mean some stuff, but, so I was just thinking about it, if I have Ooze in play, that means I can, activate Ooze and I don't need to cast it, I already have it in play. But I'm nah, I'd rather just get the Troll down because it's going to have a better attack next turn, and I guess I was also thinking, do I want to attack with this Preserver as a 5/5? Do I want to attack with the Troll? And yeah, I do go to attack with the Troll first. I don't want to attack as a 5/5 because I don't want to trade my 5/5 with a 3/3 if they double block with 2 3/3s, so. And I do offer the trade because I have 2 Oozes in my hand, so I just want creatures in the graveyard. And so I'm happy if they block, so I want to use this now to get my attack in because I have a mana advantage. Oh yeah, now I remember this game. No comment, but let's just say things are going to get more interesting than the opening hand. That's all I'm going to say. Helpful for me, they're stuck on 2 lands, so they play a Pelt Collector and a Lovestruck Beast token and pass. So now things are getting pretty good for me because I have this giant Wildborn Preserver that's stuck on lands. I didn't draw another land, so I look like a genius for bottoming the forest. And now I just make an 8/8. I was just checking, just checking what's up, but it's pretty simple. So the reason I make it an 8/8 is because I can only activate the Ooze so many, I can only level up the Wildborn Preserver so many times, whereas Ooze I can activate it whenever, so that's why I didn't activate the Ooze. Plus I'm attacking with the Preserver now and stuff like this. I only have 1 more creature, so I can only, trigger the Preserver whenever I have a creature to cast, whereas Ooze whenever I have 1 green mana, I can activate it. That was kind of my logic. I don't know why I didn't activate Ooze. Also I'm attacking with this, and etc. So anyway, so they tank a little bit. Let's look at the blocks they make. I guess as they're close to it. So yeah, they just block the Pelt Collector with the Bark Troll, which is a very good block for me, because if they just play the Lovestruck Beast, it becomes a 4/4, and then all of a sudden it's bigger than my Troll. And also now my Ooze can grow, and now things are looking good. I have this 8/8 in play. So you can see the power of the Wildborn Preserver in here. Love this card. We also saw it when it killed them, McWinsauce with the Ugin. So I draw this, and now I can choose, do I want to grow my Preserver more, or do I want to eat with the Oozes? But as you can see, I'm kind of I have a lot of lands in play, and I only have 1 more creature to cast, so I just want to make my Wildborn Preserver giant. They have 8, 10 blocks in play. And yeah, I think I'm gonna make a mistake next turn, but I guess I should just focus on this turn. I remember next turn's a pretty loose mistake for me. So I just swing for 12, and what happened? They chumped. Great exchange for me. They just chumped with a 2-drop. Yeah. So now what happens? They untap. And yeah, they play a Pelt Collector and a Scavenging Ooze. But yeah, not too threatening for me. Like no Questing Beast, which would have been the worst case for me. So now I have a choice. I can play Pelt Collector and max out my Wildborn Preserver. Currently they have 8, 10, 12. But if they lose all their creatures trade, I prefer that's good for me. And I have these oozes. So basically, I think this is where I made a mistake. I have to consider, because if I get the Collector in play, like, yeah. But basically, no, I want to activate my oozes now because, you know, I don't want them to grow their ooze. I just want to make my oozes big. But now my question is, do I attack with everything? And I kind of messed this up. I think I should have attacked with everything because that's going to force them to make blocks. Because right now I could attack with the Preserver, and then they could play like a Questing Beast, right? And then that just attack, and like you see, nothing really happened. But if I attacked, I would like force them to make unfavorable blocks, basically. So you see, I do think about it, but then I end up kind of being like, no, I don't want to make these attacks. But I think it was a mistake. I think I should have attacked with everything. I was kind of thinking like, oh, what if they ramps through my ooze and then they leave their ooze back? Like what? I was kind of checking like, okay, like if I attack like this, they could like. I think I just should have attacked with everything. But I got kind of scared. I was kind of tired, as you can see. It was 8 p.m. here, so I was kind of tired, and I think I tanked for like a while. I choose not to attack, and I think this is a mistake because basically now they can not block, and then they could just play Questing Beast or whatever. But otherwise, I would have forced them to make blocks, and I think it would have been good to force them to make blocks because then I could keep growing my ooze. I mean, I would have had to go in the combination of all the ways they could block ooze, but I think it was definitely a mistake. And then I pass. They play Questing Beast, and now I draw another ooze. So what happens here? Oh yeah, do I play Pelt Collector? I guess I do. I just make sure that, you know, only, you know, some amount of creatures are going to die. Don't level it up because it's going to trade with the Beast. And I attack with these two, I guess. I want to force a lot of trades, I guess. I don't know about this. It's kind of gross, their Pelt Collector. It's like, I guess because I have another ooze in hand, I just kind of want to force trades and get the board trimmed down, I guess. Grow my own Pelt Collector, but it grows theirs. Then I eat some stuff, and yeah. But I definitely messed up. I punted badly, I think, by not attacking with the oozes, because it just, you know, I mean, I have to observe it more closely, but yeah. So, what happened here? Did I draw the Questing Beast? Yeah, awesome. So I draw a Questing Beast, and now I'm kind of in a state where I have an 8/8, but they have 2/5/5, so I don't really want to attack with it. But if I play Questing Beast, it's gonna like force a block. But here I'm not going to attack because I have more mana, so like I just don't want to lose an ooze fight. I want to make sure my ooze is always growing, so I don't attack. That way I can attack next turn, and then I have like 6 lands, so my ooze can eat and become a 10/10. And this might have been a mistake. I played the second ooze. I was just like, why not? Just play it. But yeah, it could be wrong. It's kind of hard to tell. So like the reasons not to is like maybe they play a fight spell and then they eat with their ooze, but maybe it doesn't really matter because I don't know. I guess it kind of matters if they have like Ram through and miss a land. But what happens here? They play Primal Might and they fight my Pelt Collector. Makes sense. And then they pass to me. I drew a Pelt Collector and I go to attack. And now that's pretty good because I gotta trigger my Pelt Collector and I gotta eat with the ooze, make it a 10/10. So yeah, I do that. Here we're gonna get into ooze fight and I win. Then they drop a Stonecoil Serpent, but I have this 10/10. And since I have a second ooze, that was actually a good draw. And all the oozes, because this way, like, I can trade with like non-ooze creatures, but then I can keep oozing and make sure their ooze don't grow. I definitely messed up when I didn't attack with the other oozes, because now you can see all this position, like, they were in a decent position after I probably could have forced them to be in a worse one. Here I just use it, like, I just trade with 9 power of, I just trade with 2 creatures, and then I eat with my ooze and I trigger my guy, so I'm happy with all this exchange. I play ooze and I pass. Play Lovestruck Beast, I draw Ramstrew, so I tank a little bit. Do I want to fight this Lovestruck Beast? How do I want to attack? And I decided, yeah, I have an ability to attack here, so I just want to get my attack, and it's not going to, get much better than this. Maybe I could try and get fancy, but I have a decent attack, so I wanted to make it. And I just swing with everything, I believe. Yeah, because now I just have a good attack, so this just lets me make a good attack. So, and I didn't really have much else going on, so I do this attack. They block like this, so that's pretty good. Now I have a 7/7. They play a 6/6, but I have a 7/7, and since this is a 3/3, I can actually attack with both because they have to block the pelt. Because like basically they don't have a good block. Like they have to block the pelt collector, so they can't double block the ooze. And if they can't double block ooze, that means they're chump blocking the ooze. And if they block like this, that means basically trade my collector for their ooze. But that's an exchange I'm happy with. Especially it helps me keep growing my ooze, and also it triggers my other pelt collector and etc. I guess it. So I drew another pelt collector. Here I could have attacked with both, but I figured, yeah, I'll just play around with Rams through whatever. You know. Actually, I don't even... A Wildborn Preserver, like, they could then chump and eat. I don't know, it might have been loose, but... Like, maybe if they drew Questing Beast? Maybe it was loose if they drew... No, it's not, because if they draw Questing Beast, it's still... I was just playing around Wildborn Preserver, but not attacking. Anyway, so I go to side... So, yeah, and you can see my life. I was at 36 life. 20 creatures were eaten with oozes, or not 20 creatures, there's some spells in here, but... You know, close to 20 creatures. Not attacking with oozes that turn really backfires. Here I'd take a note that I have to do some laundry or something after. So yeah, side in cards, same way I sided last time. But let me see, so yeah, side out the trolls, side out some gem racers, you know, and yeah, it didn't really change much. And yeah, pretty good hand, so I'll keep it. I have a curve, a 1-drop, could be a 2-drop, a 3-drop, like it's just a pretty good hand, you know. Not much explanation required. So they play Gross Chamber Guardian, so I could fight it with my Primal Might, but then I lose my token and my Primal Might. So I just play my ooze now and figure, you know, if they want to grow it, it's fine. Like I don't want to just make this bad exchange now, it's just not really a great exchange to do it, I don't know. So they play their Lovestruck Beast, pass to me. So I draw Rams through. I think I actually do fight the Growth Chamber Guardian here. Well, actually I guess what I'm thinking. So I could play Lovestruck Beast, get in play, whatever, blah blah blah. Or I could fight their Growth Chamber Guardian because... I mean, I guess I'll look at, like, how do I win the game, what's the plan, etc. Like, if they just start looping these Growth Chamber Guardians, like... Or like, it's kind of hard to be aggressive because a 4/4 Growth Chamber Guardian trades with my Questing Beast, right? Like, most of their creatures trade with my Questing Beast. Like, it's hard to, you know, tempo them with the Questing Beast. That kind of is what I'm trying to say. So I could, like, play Lovestruck Beast and then, like, next turn play Questing Beast, but I'm kind of thinking about a long game, and, like, this Growth Chamber Guardian can draw them more cards. Obviously, they could just have another one in hand, but that's fine if they do. Like, I would think I could play Lovestruck Beast, but I was like, I think I'd rather just fight, because then I could also just eat with the ooze, so I gotta use all my mana anyway. And also these fight spells are kind of risky, like Primal Fight can be kind of risky to use, and kind of... So, I do end up Primal Fighting. I just thought playing Lovestruck Beast, like, it's not gonna develop my board that much, like... I don't know. I always felt like I was kind of trying to not let them draw extra cards, was that... Gross Chamber Guardian or whatever. Also, yeah. Oh, I used Ramshrew. I guess. Oh, they play Great Henge. So yeah, that's pretty good. So why did I use Ramshrew? Maybe Primal. Not sure exactly why I used Ramshrew. Maybe I thought Primal Might could be 1 mana with Lovestruck Beast, but I don't know. I think I would probably use Primal. I probably thought that it's 1 mana, but. Or maybe I thought, like, I don't have that much to do with my mana, so I can use it as a mana sink later with, like, Questing Beast. Something. It's not going great for me. Great Henge is really good, so... Then I play Questing Beast, but they ram through, and then I basically scoop here, because they're going to untap and play a million creatures, draw a million cards, and I die. So, Great Henge is good. That's the lesson. So, yeah. Then I basically just scoop, like you'll watch, I kind of try and fight for a turn, but then I'm like, whatever. So then the sideboarding comes back. I'm like, do I want more gem razors or whatever? Did I think I didn't bring in more gem razors, but you could definitely consider it. So I see this hand, and it's pretty bad. I think I mull this. Yeah, I do mull it. It's sad because that's 2 fight spells, 2 questing beasts, kind of good cards in the mirror, but nothing to do early is like kind of awkward, I think. So I mull it. I get this hand. They kept 7. I kept the 6. I bought him Primal Might. That way I just have a good distribution. This is kind of Vivian's kind of a fight spell. That way I keep my 2-drop. Just made sense to me. So yeah, I played that. Oh, this is actually a really interesting choice. So they have this 1/1 human token. So if I attack, this would imply that I have Wildborn Preserver, right? So let's say I'm playing against like, actually that's irrelevant. But so let's say I attack. If my opponent thinking, why would they attack? You never trade Pelt Collector as 1/1 human, unless like maybe you're scared of Lovestruck Beast, but that's pretty weird. So why would you do this? Well, that signals you have Wildborn Preserver. So attacking is, so on the surface it's a free damage or 2 damage. But what if you just pass to them, right? What if you pass to them and then they'll attack because they'll be like, it's a free 1 damage. But then you have Wildborn Preserver because they'll be like, I could attack, but what if they have Wildborn Preserver? So well, I guess I'll do this simply. Okay, so we can attack here, and if we attack and they block, then it'll signal to them, we have Wildborn Preserver, like otherwise it would be not a great attack for us. Like, so then we don't get the free human, but we get 1 damage and maybe 2 damage if you want to main phase the Wildborn Preserver, right? So 1 or 2 damage, right? But then we pass to them, and then they have a 1/1 in play, they untapped, and they're going to have the option to attack or not with their human. And they might be like, well, I could attack, but what if they have Wildborn Preserver, right? Then I don't want to attack. So it's kind of like, do I want to try and get this damage in? Do I want to try and get the 1/1 human? So you're evaluating like, how much is the damage worth? How much is the worth of getting the human? So it's actually a really interesting spot, I think. I end up attacking, and I'm not honestly sure what's better. I end up getting lucky. They decide to block, so yeah. But I'm really not sure what's better. So yeah, like when stuff gets complicated, my heuristic is just to attack, but rather than get fancy. But it's definitely interesting. So they play an Ocam Ranger, so that's pretty good against me because I have a bunch of 2/2s. Here you can see the awkwardness. Like Bark-Eyed Troll, like I was saying, is quote unquote bad, but it's actually, this is what I mean. It's kind of good against this Ocam Ranger. Like imagine if I have Bark-Eyed Troll, and then I could have just rammed through the Ocam Ranger and swing for 5, right? So Bark-Eyed Troll is actually can be good and bad against the Ocam Ranger. Bad that it helps them cast it more quickly, but good that actually lets you block it decently. But I go in the tank a little bit. I decided, I'm just going to attack with Bose, and then I'm going to primal my post-combat. I didn't actually remember. I was like, why did my Pelt Collector grow? But it got bigger, so that was kind of funny. So it actually triggers my collector, and it's not that bad. And then here I draw Vivian, and I just plus and pass. Yeah, I could attack and like gamble that they don't have a Lovestruck Beast token, but the fact that they blocked made me think it's more likely they have a 1/1, and it's just like they could easily draw 1/1. They could also play a questing beast. I mean, I don't know. Like I could attack because it's like 5 damage and that's a lot, but then it's just like randomly a disaster if they just play a Lovestruck Beast. I mean, obviously I don't have. Because the thing is, I can -5 my Vivian, so even if I have no creatures, yeah, here you can see, I look at the sideboard, I can -5 my Vivian, so, like, even if I, like, whiff and I draw a land, I can just -5 my Vivian and get, like, any creature that costs, like, freaking 5 mana. It's, like, really good. So, that's, like, let's say they go Heart's Desire, play Lovestruck Beast, right? If I plus an attack, now my Vivian's dead, and I have a 5/5, and, nothing's really happening. So yeah, so that was kind of the situation. They play their own Vivian, and I think they're going to bite my Vivian. Yeah. Because she actually targets Planeswalkers. Vivian is great. They bite my Vivian, and I draw my own Vivian. Lucky draw, for sure. Lucky. So now I bite I could plus an attack, but I do this because this way I just kill their Lovestruck Beast, guaranteed. So I thought that was worth more than the 2 counters, especially if they kill, like if they play like a questing beast, now I could, that's just why I did this. Because I just thought like, guaranteed killing the Lovestruck Beast was like, I thought worth more than trying to like get a big Pellet Collector or something like this, especially if they have like questing beast or something. Even though like Pellet Collector would be bigger than the Lovestruck Beast, and like I could, maybe try and ignore it in some sort of a way. But here I get pretty lucky. They kind of don't have any more spells to cast, and it's just like win. I actually make a mistake here because I put the counters. I was just really nervous, like if they have like some flash 6-drop or something. But here you see I missed the counters because the questing beast would have grown the Pellet Collector, but they just had nothing. So yeah, that was this round.